Indy Racing Trail moves into Kentucky this weekend, the Bluegrass State, more well known for racing of another variety. We'll be seeing a lot more horsepower in the Belterra Casino Indy 300. Round 10 of the Indy Racing Northern Lights Series will be live in a few minutes. Hello and welcome to our continuing coverage of the IRL, and as we head into the final 4 rounds, it's shaping up into a battle between defending champion Buddy Lazier and young hotshot and early season double winner Sam Hornish Jr. To help guide me through today's action, I'm joined in the studio by 2 of our Sky Sports regulars, John Kirkpatrick and Rob Murphy. But before we hear from them, let's just remind ourselves of what happened at Nashville 3 weeks ago. Providing the real fireworks, but Buddy Lazier taking victory 3 weeks ago, and Johnny's on a bit of a roll, isn't he?
Absolutely. 3 out of the last 4. He was a little fortunate in Nashville for sure, but
I think a few of them were.
Yeah, is that not the footage? But yeah, I mean, he's built it up all through the season, and he's going to be tough to beat even today. An
incredible race meeting, and I have to emphasise, nobody was hurt.
No, you know, we have had accidents where there have been injuries this year, and with this enormity of those accidents, I think Brian Barnard has moved to bring in this 12 degrees of wing, and that's going to stick him to the circuit really good. But the one guy that isn't happy about it is Eddie. He'd much prefer him looser than that.
Eddie Cheever. Well, there you go. I don't think I'd want one. I'd want one that stuck to the ground a bit more than Ndare's was at that particular time. Now, Rob, Hornish didn't really feature at Nashville, but he's been remarkably consistent this year, hasn't he?
Yeah, the most consistent driver, hence him leading the championship. He's won a couple of times, but Lazier is really putting him under a lot of pressure, and he's only a youngster. He's performed fantastically well, but you know, it's going to be the test of him now this latter part of the year.
Is he up for it?
I think he probably is. You know, we've looked at him all year, and he's a real talent. But Lazier's also a real talent. He's got a lot more experience. He's won a lot more different types of tracks. So it's going to be a real test. And who else knows who could come through, particularly in this race. Anybody from the top 10 easily could win this.
Okay, boys, well, let's take a look now then at how all that has left the points table. Sam Hornish Jr. still leads, as he has done all season, but Buddy Lazier is now just 40 points behind. And remember, there are 50 points for a win, so he could be back at the top of the table by the end of today's race. Scott Sharp lies third, ahead of leading rookie Felipe Giafone. Then there's Eliseo Salazar, Billy Buzz Colkins and Eddie Cheever too, who's run a lot at the front, but also he seems to have crashed quite a lot this year. Now, qualifying has seen the championship contenders well down. Hornish in 8th, Lazier 11th. But, John, that shouldn't be much of a handicap for them, should it?
I don't believe so. I mean, Lazier won this race off 7th in the grid last year. Hornish is in 8th. And at this track, you can run two side by side. You'll remember last year where Hornish and Jacques Lazier ran side by side for fully 9-10 laps, and we all had our tongues in our mouths then.
We've had a bit of a resurface, though, I think, from last year, haven't we? I mean, it's the track's quite a bit quicker. I saw that Eli Cheever had done the test there 2 weeks ago, and despite the fact he said it was bumpier, he's going amazingly quite a bit quicker this year.
Yeah, they think that the winter really upset the track a lot, and between the testing 2 weeks ago and the qualifying, they've resurfaced certain parts of it. It's still pretty bumpy, particularly out of turn 2, but it's better than it was in testing, that's for sure.
Maybe because we have a bit more time before we cross to the track at the moment. Let's elaborate on the wing that you were talking about, the regulations with regard to the wing, to try and stick them to the track a little bit harder.
Brian Barnard, he's the IRL Director of Operations, and I think it's not just about this racetrack. I think there's clearly been concern about the number of accidents and high speed and big accidents they've been having, and so he's decreed that they should run 12 degrees of wing as opposed to the 6 that they have been running. Now, what that does at this particular racetrack, it means that you can run flat pretty much all the way, and as I mentioned earlier, Eddie's not terribly happy with that. He'd rather have a car to drive, and he believes that everybody on the grid can run this track flat. So we'll see, but I'm sure that's the reason for this.
While we're talking about Cheever, I know he's one of your favourites at the moment, but the Infinity motor is now coming into its own, isn't it? That is certainly going to be one for the future.
Yeah, it's been there or thereabouts all season long, and Eddie's got a 500-mile test coming up at Indianapolis next week, and they're really looking to develop this motor. I'm sure we'll see more than two Infinity engines in the championship next year.
Okay, we're talking of pairs as we are at the moment. We've got the Kelly Racing pair of Dismore and Sharp on the front row, Rob. That's pretty significant. Although they've not really, they've had a disappointing year.
Yeah, they have really by their standards, and it's ominous that the two Infinity motors are just behind them with Cheever and Buell. But you know, Scott Sharp has won 6 of IRL races. He's only one behind the winningest driver, Buddy Lazier. So they won at Texas when they were both off the front row. I think it was switched around. I think Dismore had pole and Sharp was second, and admittedly Sharp was a little bit lucky to get that win because there was a big crash at the end of the race, but he is a class act, and you know they could run at the front. For me, it's the Infinity motors have got an advantage here, even though Cheever doesn't like it. He's got more push behind him to get through with this bigger wing. So, but they're going to be able to run all over the racetrack too. That's the great thing. They're talking 2 grooves at least, maybe even 3 grooves, and passing around the outside. So we got a lot of action coming up.
We have got a lot of actions coming up. The cars are on their warm-up laps at the moment, so at Kentucky. So let's cross over then to our ABC colleagues Vince Welch and Jack Arute in the pits, and your commentators Larry Rice, Jason Priestley and Bob Jenkins.
Surfing in his spare time. He started from the 3rd position 4 times this year. We congratulate Robbie and Becky Buell on the birth of their new daughter, Quinn. In row number 3, it's Greg Ray and Billy Boat coming off his best season finish at Nashville. Row number 4, it's Jeff Ward with new sponsorship from John Mellencamp and points leader Sam Hornish Jr. Al Unser Jr. had his best start since Texas last year, and Robbie McGee alongside. Starting 11th, defending series and race champion Buddy Lazier and Felipe Giafoni. In the 7th row is Jacques Lazier coming off his best IRL finish, and Eliseo Salazar. 15th, making his IRL debut, Rick Treadway and Brazilian Ayrton Dare. He drives and has fun in anything with 2 or 4 wheels. The 9th row consists of Didier Andre and Shige Hattori. Back in row number 10, it's Buzz Calkins and Sarah Fisher, who led her first IRL race here last year. Row number 11, Billy Rowe and Donnie Beechler. Beechler had trouble qualifying and will start at the tail of the field. We'll have radio contact with Robbie Buell as the race progresses this afternoon.
Robbie, this is Larry Rice. Is there any special strategy given the conditions of the racetrack today? Robbie, this is Larry Rice. Is there any special strategy today given the conditions of the racetrack?
A lot of static or feedback from somebody I don't understand.
Try one more time, Robbie. Can you? Is there any special strategy at the start of this race?
Talking to me right now doesn't need to do that.
Okay. We We are getting close to the green flag. Well, let's check the stories that will follow during the race. Of course, we'll keep a track, watch on the track surface, the points championship, and the battle up front, Kelly Power and Infinity Power. It's a beautiful day in northern Kentucky with the temperature 88 degrees, relatively low humidity. There were showers in the area last night. They are gone. Quickly before the green, let's check in with Jack Arute.
Bob, you want a long shot? Take a look. Starting in 9th position, it is Al Unser Jr. Normally he would short pit to try and work his way to the front. They say no problem this time. They'll stay in sequence and go to the front on their own, Vince.
Making his very first start today is Rick Treadway, the son of this man, a team owner, Fred Treadway. Ricky making his first start, but he's had plenty of testing laps, 2,000 miles of testing, so they just want to keep it clean and be running at the finish today. Bob?
Beautiful day as the cars line up behind the pace car. Now the car pulls into the pit lane, and the 22 starters are ready to go in the Kentucky Indy 300. Sharp gets the jump on his teammate Mark Dismore as they head down the backstretch. The driver on the move is in that yellow car. That's Sam Hornish Jr. as he's already picked up a couple of spots.
He got a fantastic start on the green, and this Pennzoil Panther team has a habit of not having the greatest car during qualifying, but they find speed in that car between qualifying and race day. Looks like they may have done the same thing this weekend.
This is the first race that Scott Sharp has led since he won the Texas Racing Junior.
Billy Boat got a great start as well outside of row 3. He's up to 4th spot, got around Eddie Cheever there on that start.
Now that's
Cheever didn't look like he got a very good start. There were a couple of cars all over the back of him going into turn 1. He might have been in the wrong gear.
And Jeff Ward just passed Hornish. Now Ward will be in a totally different looking car today. He does have that sponsorship from John Mellencamp. The car is red and blue and a little bit of white. He moves up to 6th position. Sam Hornish Jr. is in 7th. Up front, it is Scott Sharp. And again, the way you can tell these Kelly cars apart, Scott Sharp has the yellow rear wing. Mark Dismore has the black rear wing. And here's Hornish at the start of the race. And look at this.
Man, oh man. I tell you what, that kid is better catching a car like that. These cars don't give you much warning. When it does that, that's a big, big movement inside that race car. And he caught that car. I'm telling you, there's probably 70% of the guys that would not have caught that car.
I asked Sam Hornish one time why he could attribute that characteristic you talked about, Larry. He said he thought it was probably from years and years and years of running go-karts. He said go-karts, you may be awfully low to the ground, not going very fast, but he said it's an awfully similar feel to what he gets in one of these IRL cars.
As I recall, that isn't the first time that we've seen Sam in a bit of a bobble at the beginning of a race.
Right, he's done that a couple of different times. Pikes Peak, I think in Indy he had a bit of a bobble too, so he's done that several times. That's why it's so amazing, because I've talked to some of the drivers earlier, because usually by the time you feel these things get loose, they're already gone, and they're already in the fence, they're already spun.
I'll tell you what, Larry, I drove one of the Kelly cars down at Homestead, and you drive around the track in these cars, and it feels like there's an elephant sitting on top of you. There's so much downforce.
And now they've got 2 this weekend.
No kidding with the new rear wing.
Well, the scoring in the upper left of your screen, whenever you see an arrow up or down, it means that from the last lap, that driver has gained or lost a position. It's Sharp, Dismore, Robbie Buell running in 3rd spot, then Boat, and then Cheever, the top 5. And we're on board with Mark Dismore, who is chasing his Kelly teammate, Scott Sharp.
And you could really see the different lines you can take around this racetrack. Scott Sharp, say down low, coming down the front straightaway. Mark Dismore gave his car, let it have its head, and move out to the outside wall.
Not unexpectedly, Donnie Beechler has made the biggest jump. He did not qualify because of a mechanical problem, but started at the rear of the field and has gained 6 spots. On the other hand, Al Unser Jr., who started 9th, has lost 6 positions, and Greg Ray has fallen from 5th to 10th in the first 7 laps.
That's a bit unusual, because usually Unser races a lot better than he qualifies. So, you might watch that, because he might pick that thing back up here a little bit.
Robbie Buell is hanging right in there in 3rd position behind Mark Dismore as we look back to Buell.
Greg Ray has already reported radio problems, and he's told them that he's going to have to tell them in their pit stops hand signals as to what he wants done with the race car, because they can't hear him.
The old-fashioned way, huh?
Yeah, the old-fashioned way.
I was talking to Robbie Buell this weekend, and he's had a really fast car in the last 4 events. Actually, ever since the Indianapolis 500, where he was really quick. he was telling me this weekend it's been kind of frustrating for them, but they're looking for their luck to turn around.
Now, as we're on board with Mark Dismore here, you can actually see where this rhino patch was put down. Watch as he approaches turn number 3. Right there is where it begins, and you'll notice they put it 3 lanes wide, so there'll be lots of room. It ends right there.
Yes, and it has made a big difference. Mark Dismore told me this morning that when he got here, the race car was all apart. He says, I don't know when my luck is going to change. We had a water leak, so they had to take everything apart, and still, 2 hours before the race, it wasn't back together. Hopefully, they got everything fixed and right. So far, everything looks great.
Larry, what they ended up doing is changing out the water pump, and they felt that that was the culprit and where the leak was coming from.
Make no mistake, the track is relatively rough. You will notice on our onboard cameras that the steering wheel bounces around a bit in the driver's hand, but it is much better than it was, and that grip really helps things. And Dismore is trying everything he can to catch sharp, but he tried a little too hard there.
Right, he got a little too close.
Looking inside, still there, inside.
And that's how competitive these cars are. You make one little mistake, and the guy who's behind you can jump right up inside you, Larry, right?
Well, he didn't make a mistake, but he got so close that it took the air off the front wings. When he did that, the front end pushed on him, and he had to lift just a little bit, and that little bit gave Robbie Buell a chance to try to get under him, but he did a great job running the outside groove.
Buell gave it a shot, but was not able to take over that position, and now we see Billy Boat closing in on Buell as the front 4 are running very close together on the racetrack. On board with Sam Hornish, who's still back in the 7th spot.
Yeah, I talked to these guys earlier today. They just want to finish races and finish ahead of Buddy Lazier. That's their goal for the rest of the year, because if they do that, they're going to win the championship, and that's got to be on their minds at this late in the season.
It is the time to start thinking about that Northern Light Cup and the $1 million bonus as Hornish now moves to the inside of Jacques Lazier, who fell 2 positions at the start of the race, but now has come back to run in 7th position. But Sam Hornish is trying to get around him. There is Scott Sharp, who has about a 0.6 of a second lead on his teammate Mark Dismore. Robbie Buell is 3rd, followed by Billy Boat, Eddie Cheever Jr., and Jeff Ward. 14 of the 200 laps have been completed here at Kentucky Speedway.
On Sky Sports next season.
Would you believe it?
Big names, big games.
Martha Stewart.
Even more Premiership football with 66 live games in all.
Absolutely fantastic.
And there's more.
Oh my goodness.
More big names. And another 40 big games with Premiership Plus on Sky Box Office.
Unbelievable.
Order your Premiership Plus season ticket now. At just £60 a special price for Sky Sports subscribers.
Phillips is there. Janssen!
Call 08705 160 160 or tune to channel 433.
There's no reason for you to be left behind. Sayat, discover the secret.
At Braun, we're always looking for ways to make ironing easy. And that's why we at Braun recommend Bold. With Easy Iron Conditioner built in, so now you can steam through the ironing.
We're totally different, you and me.
But we're both thick.
Yeah, all right, but apart from that, we're totally different.
And filling.
What?
Filling. We're both filling.
All right, so we're both thick and filling, but apart from that, we're totally different.
And we're tasty.
Yeah, and we're tasty, but apart from being thick, filling and tasty, we are totally different.
Fresh. We're both fresh. And we live in the chiller cabinet. But you're right, apart from that...
We are totally different, told you.
Fridge! How can something so tasty be so thick?
Selling John Smith's Extra Smooth isn't exactly the hardest job in the world, is it?
Isn't that great? You can even fill in your tax return online. So what are you waiting for? Go on, go on, go online. 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 Go online.
Right, one piece of finger chocolate here.
Take that.
What's happening?
And that. And that.
What is wrong with you?
And that. Orbit now in new sweetment pellets.
She had beautiful, long, golden hair all over her body. Then one day, I catch her in another guy's basket. I wasn't going to argue. He was a boxer. All she said was, "What'd you expect? I'm a bitch." I guess some folks just got no breathing. But hey, that's life. That's what all the people say.
If Smirnoff made pet food.
Give it a race. Yeah! Ready, go!
Sainsbury's Blue Parrot Cafe range. Over 50 new products to help kids eat more healthily.
Organic. Oh, cool. This is making me feel a bit peckish. Sorry, mate. You can't eat that.
Sainsbury's, making life taste better.
Allinger Jr. looks to the inside of Giafoni as they travel through turns 1 and 2. But Giafoni, the top rookie candidate in 2001, is holding off the challenge. They're only about 5 seconds from going a lap down, and we have a crash.
It's Mark Dismore.
Slow it down, Kurt. Kurt, slow it down,
Oh, man.
Slow it down.
The right rear tire is flat. You can see the left front is up in the air. That means the right rear tire is flat, and that's a tough break for Mark Dismore. He's been running very strong. There you can see, right there, the tire that's deflated. Not sure whether that happened before or after the spin, but...
Did he keep it off the wall, guys? Because if he did, that's an amazing bit of driving.
Don't know. We'll have to perhaps get a replay of it. Let's look. Well...
you can see the tire was flat when he was spinning. That thing was already flat when he had spun, and he did touch it with the right rear. So that's a tough break for him. Let's see if we can see from the in-car camera. He's running through the corner. Yep, you can see.
It just snapped, guys. It looked to me like something let go in the engine and put some oil down in front of those rear tires, because that thing just came around.
I think the right rear went flat on him, and you can see the wheel is bent. See that wheel wobbling? That's bent from when he hit the wall. And, you know,
the tire fin fell off and cut it, Diz.
Yeah. A fin fell off and cut the tire, they're saying. So there might have been...
Change the tire, they're going to let you get right back out. If you can get out and save this lap.
All right, let's take a look at it once again, and...
Right there.
Hold it right there. Yep,
you can see the piece of the tire right there that came off. That's a piece of the tire, or it could be the fin that he ran over. But whatever it was, the tire, he did cut the tire, and the tire is definitely what caused him to spin.
And Mark Dismore's crew just put him through some very fast action so that he did not go a lap down. Pulled in, changed that tire. What a great job by the Delphi Bryan team under some very unfortunate situations.
He's dragging something right here in the back of his car now. Right there, you see that? He's dragging something off the back of his car.
We need you to go slow, though. We need you to go slow. We're not sure about the left front nut.
Aha.
Oh, it's coming off. His left front tire's coming off right here.
Speed or let him go.
Yeah, you can see
the left nut's not on. That wheel's going to fall off. Look, you can see it right here. You see that gap right there?
Here, Mark. We got to take a better look at it.
Look at that.
That thing's moving back and forth about 4 inches. If he can...
left front tire's starting to come off a little. Easy does it.
Yeah, he's going to
all the way down. All the way down.
He's going to have to lose a lap. That's a tough break because somebody obviously loosened that left front, not knowing that they were not going to change the whole thing.
This is like watching a Hitchcock mystery. You can see the trouble coming. You're just waiting for it to actually happen.
Well, and let's hope it doesn't happen. Let's hope he can make it back to the pit road with that tire still on there, but he's got a half a lap to go.
Reminds me of Buddy Lazier earlier this year. Remember how he came out of the pit stop and came out of turn 2? Yeah. And his left front tire just took a left?
Yeah, that's a tough break. You're not allowed to change anything but the damaged tire. That was the problem. I think somebody on the crew started to go ahead and change all 4 tires. You're not allowed to do that when the pits are closed. You can only change the one that is damaged. So that's what they did, send him back out, but obviously didn't have the wheel nut all the way on the left.
You're so right, Larry. That's exactly what happened. And in fact, on the radio, they were trying to tell Dismore's crew not to change any of the tires. First and second are on pit road. First service goes to Scott Sharp because he gets there first. But now, the Billy Boat machine takes service to Scott Sharp. Tight action going out. Sharp is off and away.
Wow, that was like rush hour on the 405 right there.
Man, Scott Sharp was very lucky. And
wow,
Billy Boat lost a couple positions there. As you can see, that Harnish got a great pit stop.
Did you guys see when Robbie Buell came out there? He was starting to get pushed out, and he actually put his car sideways to keep it in front of the other car that was coming up on him to go across the timing line. Good driving.
Sam Hornish Jr., of course, as the points leader, has the first pit stall down toward turn number 1. We'll return with more after these messages and a word from our ABC stations.
And I thought it was going to be a simple race meeting after all, and they were running 210 mile an hour laps, absolutely flat out, gentlemen, didn't lift off at all, or not very often. Then all of a sudden it all went wrong for Mark Dismore. What was your interpretation of that?
I suspect he hit a wing. There was already a wing or an end plate on the track. What was remarkable was that he didn't hit the wall too hard, and I think that's an illustration of just how wide this racetrack is.
I think what was remarkable is that they actually put him out, Rob.
He was coming in. It looked like he must have had some kind of deranged suspension. I can't believe they took the risk.
He must have a deranged mechanic.
Yeah, I think so.
Didn't bolt them together properly, did they?
Yeah, the front left wheel, which they which they put back on, that was obviously another problem. But they shouldn't have really put him back out on the track. There's no way of knowing how much suspension damage he had. And at over 200 miles an hour, you don't want to find out again. So
that your front wheel's coming off. Okay, well, that's Mark Dismore out. Scott Sharp, though, seems to have things fairly well covered at the moment. His teammate.
He's got the car dialed in, but as we're seeing, the track is very, very bumpy. It's going to take a lot of figuring out. There's going to be, who knows whether he's going to have the right car 30 laps from now or 40 laps from now, but right now he's looking pretty good.
Okay, what you've seen so far there, John, what do you reckon on that?
I quite like the way Billy Boat's going. I mean, he did start 6th, but he's up to 3rd, and that's a small team. The Curb Records team is a real small. It's a small effort, and it's good to see him. And over the past couple of 3 races, he's been there or thereabouts. He's been up the sharp end.
They've been making some good efforts.
Now Sam Hornish, he's about not where he wants to be, but certainly he's in front of the main protagonist, Buddy Lazier.
Sure.
6th place for Sam Hornish at the moment, but he had a bit of an eye opener early on, didn't he? I mean, certainly he got himself in a big twist.
Yeah, major twitch there, and obviously the car isn't perfect, but
well, we can take a look at it. We're just seeing it, picking it up just a little bit late, unfortunately, so we missed that. But certainly it was. I thought it was something wrong with my eyes because it snapped sideways so quick, and that's certainly something to wake you up very early on in a 300-mile race.
He had exactly the same thing at Richmond, a big twitch, and the kid is good, there's no question about that.
The track does look bumpy though, John.
Yeah, I mean, they've been saying all through practice that the track's bumpy. It's better than it was in testing, but out of turn 2 it's still pretty bumpy. I don't know, strange, whether it's the surface that got badly attacked by the winter time, I don't know, but yeah, they're complaining about the bumps. And you can see that from the cockpit shots, there's a lot of driving going on, despite they're flat. On the limiter a lot of the time.
Okay, well, they're about to go back under a green again now. In fact, they are under a green, so let's cross back to the track.
Less than a lap has been run under green, and up front it remains Scott Sharp, but now his challenge comes from Sam Hornish Jr. He had a good pit stop, and again, because he's pitted at pit out, he got into the 2nd position, and now is right behind Sharp with Buell 3rd, then Boat 4th, then Buddy Lazier in the 5th position. Allenzer Jr. has moved up to 9th spot, and Ricky Treadway, who was running 17th before the caution, had a good pit stop. His crew got him out in 5th. But unfortunately, look at Treadway, that red car there being passed on the outside. Yeah. And I guess that's just a rookie mistake, huh?
Yeah, he just wasn't ready. Both of those veterans laid back a little bit. They got a great start on him. He got a terrible start after his crew gave him such a great pit stop. Took him from 17th to 5th. He's back to 11th, and it's all because he didn't get a very good restart.
That was one of the main concerns that they had with Rick Treadway today, because this is his first Indy Racing League event. They were concerned about him in the pits, and they were also concerned about him on the restart. So I guess they got 1 out of 2. He's still hitting 50%.
Well, conversely, on the other side of that guy, Jacques Lazier was running up front, had a terrible pit stop, came out of the pits in 17th, and on that restart, within 1 lap, he'd worked his way up to 9th. He obviously had a very good restart, Bob.
Jason, what happened there was the fact Jacques just stalled it coming out of the pits. As simple as that. They had a good stop, but he stalled it.
On board with Eddie Cheever Jr., who runs in the 6th position. This is the Kentucky Indy 300 for the Indy Racing League, and we are 39 laps into this event, just coming off our first caution caused when Mark Dismore spun and tapped the wall. Sharp is the leader, followed by Hornish, Buell, Lazier, and Boat. There you see the green race average, and we'll check on the stories now. The surface of the track continues to hold up well. Sam Hornish Jr., the points leader, is second. Lazier is fourth. Mark Dismore, because of that problem, has fallen back and in fact is out of the race apparently, whereas the Infinity Power of Cheever and Buell are sixth and third. Let's find out about the situation regarding Mark Dismore in just a few moments as we continue to watch these first four up front, and they are running very close together. Buddy Lazier there in the fourth position. Here's Jack now.
Well, as you supposed, Mark Dismore is out of the race. And Mark, it wasn't the tire that went down that finally put you out. It was a problem in the pit service.
Well, no, that's not really true, Jack. What happened was, that was prior to the accident. What happened was, I guess the bodywork, the tire ramp in front of the right rear tire broke, come loose. I'm really not sure, but it got back into the right rear tire and cut the tire. And I actually radioed that I had a tire problem before I lost it. I got out of the throttle and lost it in two, and if the wall had been 3 more feet out, I would have saved it. But it's just a shame. I mean, we had such a dominant car today, and we got 3 left, so we'll go to St. Louis. And we tested really well there. I left there the quickest guy, so maybe I can go back there and be the quickest guy.
There's a lot of frustration for this team. Mark Dismore says he's lucky in life. He's not necessarily lucky in racing. This is the Firestone tire that Mark was talking about, and you can see the damage that is caused when you have a situation. Here's the sidewall just ripped apart, and from the looks of things, out of the grooves, as we take a look at the accident, the grooves from the fender piece that cut into the tire.
And again, he slides up and has light contact with the wall. It's Mark's 5th DNF this year. In 10 races, he has only 2 top 10 finishes.
And you can see at the very start of that replay, there was smoke coming off of that right rear tire before it ever started to spin. That piece had actually rubbed a hole in that tire before the tire went down and spun.
Top 4 continue to run very close together. Again, it's Sharp, Hornish, Buell, and Lazier.
You know, guys, Jacques Lazier, he started 13th. He worked his way up to 5th position before that first caution. He came out of that caution because, as Vince told us, he stole the car on the way out, but he has come back up to 7th position since then. He's passed 18 cars in the first 45 laps.
He's got the Meyer sponsorship car on that this week, and it's very interesting because remember he finished 3rd at Nashville despite the fact that he crashed over in turn number 2 on the last lap of the race. He wanted a trophy from the team, so the team made him a trophy made out of the junk parts from the race car.
Got his trophy. Yeah, that was a tough break for them. They had a great finish, but the jubilation didn't last long when they saw that thing all torn up.
Recycle, reuse, replenish, right, Jake?
Exactly.
Hey, Bob, you heard Scott Sharp say that one of the things that this team felt they had to do, Meyer back in 3rd in the points race, was to just run flat out. One of the reasons for that attitude is the fact that back in 3rd, they need as many points as possible. Let's not forget that you gain 2 points if you lead the most laps in a race.
Those are the only bonus points paid now in the IRL. They don't award qualifying points anymore.
Movie Max Wednesday night action.
I was wondering if you would like to have sex.
Oh, yeah.
Forget the guns.
Buckle up.
Forget the car chases. Forget the explosions. This is a romantic comedy.
Let's go blow this guy.
Stallone, Snipes, Bullock, Demolition Man. Wednesday at 10 on Sky Movie Mix.
Peace of mind. Yes, I do. 'Cause I was born to be with you. Whatever you want, whatever you
Argos catalogue is out now, with thousands of new products at a whopping 1,200 prices down, including our lowest price video recorder for under £69. Get down and pick up a catalogue now. Argos, brighter prices, brighter shopping.
Make dry, frizzy hair smooth. Pantene Pro V introduces Smooth and Sleek collection. The Pantene Pro V smoothing formula makes even dry, frizzy hair look healthier and up to 70% smoother. So healthy looking, you'll love your hair. Pantene Pro V Smooth and Sleek collection.
Two looks for the price of one from just £75 at Specsavers Opticians.
I've had the privilege and saved pounds on my motor insurance.
I've had the privilege and got a great deal on breakdown cover.
I've had the privilege with free 24-hour accident recovery.
I've had the privilege and pay by instalments.
Paying over £300 for motor insurance. It's time you had the privilege. Call 0845 246 0077 or buy online at privilege.com. You could save pounds.
We all know what happens with too many treats. At up to 98% fat-free, new Pedigree Light and Tasty means you can treat your dog and care for his health as you care for your own. Pedigree, for health you can see every day of his life.
That is why all the girls in town follow you all around.
Just like me, they long to be close to you.
Welcome back. On lap 57 of the scheduled 200, Robbie Buell launched his bid for top honours at the Belterra Indy 300 from Kentucky. We're on lap 65. Let's go back to the US and our commentators.
Now here comes Buell. Buell takes second from Lazier. Wow.
Well, he's been from 6th gear back to 50th shift. They've told him a couple times to change gears. He likes 5th better. But, boy, he has taken some moves. And now look at Harnish. Harnish has got a run on him, and he's going to take that spot.
Well, I'll tell you what happened. You could hear on the radio there, Buddy Lazier say, talk about blocking. Obviously, something happened there. He like he got his nose chopped. He had to roll out of the throttle, and as soon as that happened, those two other cars were able to dive down underneath him until he gets that thing loaded up and back up to speed. Here comes Billy Boat's going to have a shot.
And here comes Harnish. Has he got enough room? Yes, he does. They're lapping Billy Rowe.
Right up in front of Buell. Buell obviously right on the ball. Now Greg Ray does go a lap down. But man, those first four cars are really battling each other.
You know, it's amazing, guys, the way that the leaders bunch up when they get around this lap traffic. I was talking to Scott Sharp this weekend. He said, really, there's only 1.5 lines around this track. That's why they get so bunched up when they come up on the lap traffic. No one wants to get out too wide and get out into the green part of the track where there's no rubber laid down because they don't know what they're getting into.
Well, they're sure making it too wide now because these guys have been all over this race, track passing each other. They've been 3 wide down that front straightaway. Now then Dare, a lap car is in front of them, and both of these guys get by him.
Oh, man.
And here comes Buddy Lazier. He's right behind him. He's catching him.
Buddy got back around Robbie. This is unbelievable.
Buell is hung up in traffic, slower traffic back there.
Now Billy Boat has already gotten around him. Now Lazier's going to try the outside.
Buddy goes to the second lane in an attempt to take second from Sam Hornish, but can't get the job done.
He's going to take a shot at the title again pretty soon.
Here comes Boat and Buell and several others behind this lead trio now.
Well, that second group's got Boat, Buell, Cheever, and Lazier all in. They're all running bunched up too. Look at this.
Wow.
There's Boat, Buell behind him, then Dare, who is lapped. Here comes Jacques Lazier, who's gotten around Eddie Cheever.
It was a matter of getting by slower traffic, and it really bunched them up. There's Ayrton Dare there on the high side of the racetrack. Jacques Lazier is on the heels of the leaders. An incredible run from 17th starting position. Now up front, once again, the top 3 running right together on the racetrack.
Bob, you're looking at the in-car of Buddy Lazier, and Lee Koonsman just...
Oh, my!
He got out of the throttle big time. Everybody else...
Behind you there, Mr. Sharp. We're under caution. We're under caution is the reason everybody slowed. And
holy cow, that was scary.
Vince, I'm sorry, but that was a breathtaking moment.
I couldn't have finished anyway, Bob. It just took my breath away watching it.
Unbelievable. He saw that. Nobody else did, including me. And obviously, Lazier didn't see it. He almost drove right up the backside of him.
Well, the caution comes out because of debris on the front stretch, but boy, oh boy.
Hey, break out the paddles. I think Jake just had a heart attack. Clear?
We'll be back with more in a moment. 73 of 200 laps completed.
Well, I can honestly say the three of us here in the studio at Sky Sports can't believe what we've just seen and can't wait till we get given the replays, because that was something very, very special. Sam Hornish, I was convinced that he was going through the fence when Lazier went under him. It looked to me like Scott Sharp got out of it.
I think
there was a throttle. He got out the throttle, and then it was...
And there was only that little gap to go, and it was closing, and I just closed my eyes. I
have to say that Hornish is instinctive, isn't he? He's instinctively good. He's only 21 years old. He doesn't have the experience, maybe, of these other guys around him, but I was convinced he was through.
He drives with a maturity that way belies his years, that's for sure. And you know, here's a guy going for the championship. Really, all he needs to do is pick up points, but he's right at it. He's right at it all the time.
Looked like Sharp came out of the throttle because of a yellow, but he came out of it with, you know, guys right on his gearbox, and so that could have been very, very nasty.
Well, I know we're going to get to see it again when we finally get back to the track, but certainly that was something to... Hornish has had a couple of wake-up calls today, hasn't he? I mean, really, this is not going quite according to plan, is it?
No, but I like this 12-degree wing stuff, because I think it really, you know, makes them stick to the... It makes for some good drafting, and we're seeing them all over the track, and obviously we can see them closing up so quickly when they get in lap traffic and stuff, so it makes for great racing.
Well, Scott Sharp still leads under a yellow. We've got the yellow at the moment. There's a course car on there. They're all up behind each other. Pit lane is closed. Let's cross back to the track then, and our live commentators in the pit box over there.
Under yellow for the second time today. This one because of debris on the front stretch. The pits are now open, and we will be seeing those on the lead lap coming in. There are 13 on the lead lap.
Pit lane.
Sharp and Hornish are the first two. Hornish pitted down toward pit out, and Scott Sharp right there in the flashing blue pit box.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go.
It'll be Scott Sharp that goes to work first, as Sam Hornish has got a little further down pit road to go.
Hold it. Time to done. Let's go.
Herman reached in there to make sure there was no debris in the radiator. That's the reason they put his arm inside the car.
And again, Hornish comes out.
I don't know who got out first there, whether it was Hornish or whether it was Lazier, but they were really close at the timing line there. It'll be interesting to see if they let them sit where they are, or if they resort them.
There's Hornish, who is lined up third behind Lazier and Scott Sharp, and we'll do it in slow motion.
Here's the timing line right here, folks. Right there. Actually, it's this one right here. I'm sorry.
Well, looks like that Hornish.
Looks like it was Hornish. Yeah, they'll probably resort them out.
And that's the advantage of having that first pit, because you don't have to go very far. You just got to give it a little squirt in order to get that position.
When the caution come out, it created a real thrill. This is Scott Sharp, Hornish, and Lazier.
You see, Sharp sees it in the middle of the corner. Lazier does not see it, and it's a good thing that Hornish was paying attention, because if he hadn't moved over, Lazier might have collected it. Watch this right here. Oh, man.
And that forces Hornish up into the unknown area, and he had a great job saving it.
Oh, yeah.
Look at Lazier.
Wow. And that's at 210 miles an hour.
Here's Vince Welch.
Well, as we were trying to report when that was actually happening live, Lazier had made a couple of pass attempts on the outside, but Lee Koonsman, the team manager for Lazier, says the air is so dirty on that outside groove, Buddy hasn't been able to make it. That's going to be one of the keys today. If there's a car out there that can run strong on the outside groove, he's going to be a tough one to beat, but so far Lazier hasn't figured that out, although he did get a little creative on that last sequence.
And Vince, we may have just heard the most understated comments ever made on a radio to a race car driver. After what we just witnessed, Scott Sharp's spotter came on the radio and said, Scott, you just missed a major accident right behind you.
There are the positions from pit in to pit out. Both lost a couple of spots, and Robbie Buell gained one. One more lap to green. Well, next Sunday, Arena Football's ultimate game is here on ABC. The Nashville Cats will play the winner of the Grand Rapids, Indiana Arena Bowl for Arena Bowl 15. That's coming up next Sunday, live at 3 o'clock Eastern here on ABC.
You know, guys, as the race wears on and more rubber gets laid down on this track to help the traction in the corners, you'll see more cars being able to go out to that outside line. We heard Buddy Lazier's crew chief and Buddy saying that it wasn't quite ready to go out there. As the race goes on, that second line will open up, and we'll see more wheel-to-wheel racing. Bob?
Get ready.
And here we go.
Don't forget that Buddy Lazier cracked 2 ribs in an IROC race not long ago. So he's driving out there, and his ribs are very sore. In this condition, this racetrack, the bumps in it don't help any, and it doesn't seem to be bothering him, because I'm sure the concentration is taking over more than the pain.
Yeah, he's a tough boy, buddy.
He got a great run on that restart.
Trying to move to the inside of Hornish. Now we'll go outside. Hornish, meanwhile, sets his sights on Sharp to the inside. And there comes Buell up into the thick of things, and Cheever and Boat also.
Look at Billy Boat on the outside. He just went around Cheever.
We've got the top 6 running right together on the racetrack.
And they're talking about blocking. All those drivers are screaming at their spotters and their crew about the guys in front of them blocking.
And you'll see Scott Sharp. He takes a really low defensive line, going into one end, going.
Boat has moved to 4th. Now Lazier tries for 2nd. Underneath Hornish. They move out of the second corner and go down the back stretch. They're still side by side.
We'll see if Hornish has the outside groove figured out all the way through the corner. Looks like it's not quite as fast out there. They were told in the driver's meeting, if you're going to run the low line all the way down the straightaway. Don't be moving in and out.
And here goes Cheever. Cheever is moving up. He's going to 4th place. He passes Boat and leaves Buell back there in 6th.
We've got 1st to 6th position, guys, within 0.8 of a second of each other. Unbelievable.
Buell passes Boat for 5th.
Let's not forget that the rules changed as far as blocking was concerned after the Texas race. And at Pikes Peak, all the drivers were told there would be no warnings. At any time, if the IRL officials felt that excessive blocking was taking place, they would be black flagged. So there's a lot of blocking chatter going on in the radios right now.
Eddie Cheever is flying in that Infinity. Just went around Sam Hornish and moved into 3rd.
And this is political. I mean, it's very political. If you think the guy's blocking, the more you scream about it and holler about it, tell the officials about it, the more likely they are to say, yeah, they must be right. They've all screaming about it.
Well, blocking or not, this does create some incredibly exciting racing for the fans that are here in the grandstand and for those of you at home. And that's why I just hope they don't do anything that will ruin the type of racing that we see week in and week out when you come to an IRL race.
Bob, I think one of the reasons why your worry is not one to be concerned about is the fact that in race control, they have a 4-time Indianapolis 500 winner named Al Unser Sr. Unser may be a little long in the tooth, but he certainly knows what blocking is and what blocking isn't. And he is the first guy that Brian Barnhart goes to whenever there is something questionable.
And he's within about 15 feet of us over in the next booth, and he does keep a sharp eye on the racetrack every lap of the event. So it's still Sharp out front, who's led all the way so far. He has managed to keep that car out front despite some incredible challenge. Buddy Lazier, then Cheever, Hornish, Buell, Boat, Salazar, Allenser Jr., Shiggy Attori running 9th, and Jacques Lazier has moved up a couple of positions from the bad pit stop into the top 10.
Bob, I don't want to say these guys aren't very good listeners, but Brian Barnhart told me before the drivers' meeting today that his main message was going to be patience, patience, patience. I don't know if he's seeing much patience out there this afternoon, but it sure has been great racing.
Well, at least now they've all stopped to take a breath after the last 8 or 10 laps. They've at least settled down a little bit.
Let's see who's fast as we clock them at the line. Well, Cheever the fastest. Buell second quick, and then Hornish. We'll see if anybody else can top those speeds. 212.925. The last lap by Eddie Cheever, and it was the fastest. He's running in the third spot.
That's quick. That Infinity 35A is a great power plant.
And has the advantage of the draft. I think guys leading usually are not going to have the best time just because that draft does help you on a racetrack like this.
Especially the 12-degree wing and the 1-inch wicker boat they're running today. As much as a big hole in the air, guys behind you can really get up underneath you. Of course, the downside of that is it does take the air off your front wing and you lose some of your downforce at the front end of the car.
Exactly. Those guys right now, though, they've settled down just kind of following each other here, just thinking, do I really want to get up there and get close again or not?
It's going to be interesting to see what happens when they get into lap traffic again, as we've seen all day today. When the leaders catch up to the lap track, they get bunched up something fierce.
Here are the fastest laps today. Mark Dismore wasn't in the race very long, but he did manage to turn in, what, 5 of the top 10?
Yeah.
Wow, that is incredible.
He said he had a dominant car when he got out of the car. He won the Lion.
Yep. Yeah, he was very fast. We talk about luck a lot, but and I talked to him about this at the drivers' meeting. Any kind of luck at all would be appreciated by him.
Yeah,
he doesn't have to have great luck. He just like to have, some kind of luck to freaking finish a race, especially when he's that fast.
Well, it's the old saying, isn't it? If it wasn't for bad luck, he wouldn't have any luck at all.
Yep. Vince Welch, Eddie Cheever's hanging right in there in third.
Well, Cheever radioed in and said that last 5 laps before the yellow, his car finally came in. And during that second pit stop, they used the same tire pressure, so that's a good sign. They went back to the sticker tires, added the fuel with just one turn of front wing on both sides. So they really like the car at this point. And if Cheever's in a good car, you know which direction he's going, fellas.
We ought to mention, too, Salazar. He's come from 14th up to 7th, so he all of a sudden, after that last pit stop, has picked up some speed and seems to be running up with this first 6, who've really been the dominant 6 so far.
As you can see on your scoring board up there in the upper left, we have 13 cars on the lead lap. Didier Andre, Greg Ray, and Ayrton Dare have all fallen a lap down. There are the top 10, though, with almost half the race completed at the Kentucky Speedway. Back after these messages from our ABC stations.
Trouble with your sex life? Everything a bit tired? Maybe you need some help from the Lover's Guide, the original, in-depth, sexually explicit 6-part series. Frank and intimate, it will help you inject some excitement into your relationship and teach you the sexual secrets that can put fireworks into your love affair. The Lover's Guide series, this month on 18+.
Right, one fidget finger and a chocolate here.
Take that.
What's happening?
And that. And that.
What is wrong with you?
And that. Orbit now in new sweet mint pellets.
MFI, there's up to 50% off bedrooms.
Good.
Plus, choose a second bedroom at half sale price.
Even better.
But hurry, because it ends August 15th.
Right, this one is sung on a certain day of the year.
Okay, I'll name it in 6 notes. 6 more. More. No, I haven't got a clue.
Fridge! How can something so tasty be so thick?
We got you this. Happy birthday, son. Nice one.
Isn't it great when you get more than you expected? Process your film with Kodak pictures and get a presentation box, index print, option of a picture CD, and up to £2 off.
Play Suck It and See at Burger King with a chance to win prizes. But only if your straw changes colour. There's 1 in 4 chances to win, so suck it and see.
I've had the privilege and saved pounds on my motor insurance.
I've had the privilege and got a great deal on breakdown cover.
I've had the privilege with free 24-hour accident recovery.
I've had the privilege and pay by instalments.
Paying over £300 for motor insurance. It's time you had the privilege. Call 0845 246 0077 or buy online at privilege.com. You could save pounds.
Go, son. It itches!
Listerine kills the bacteria between your teeth.
They were cold there.
Also available in Tartar Control.
The more you do, the more your world becomes chaotic and the more you need control. That's the whole philosophy behind the Nissan Almera. It's all about feeling protected in a cocoon. The design translates to the agility of the car. It's kind of a control freak on wheels, but in a good way.
For the price of one from just £75 at Specsavers Opticians.
After what looked like a bout of overtaking madness in Kentucky, things have settled down. Just don't expect it to last. Scott Sharp has led right from the start, and we're on lap 101. Let's get back to the track.
The caution comes out once again. There is another caution for debris on the racetrack. This comes on lap 104.
Well, this ought to be interesting because whenever they have a restart, it gives everybody a brand new chance to get going and make a pass.
Scott Sharp has led 39 laps all year going into this race, and so far today he's led 103.
Well, that means he will get those 2 points, Bob Jenkins, for leading the most laps. Nobody can lead anymore. And let's not count out Scott Sharp in this chase for the points championship as well. He likes the odds if he can win a couple of the last few races.
Well, I think some of these guys are getting ready to pit under this yellow, so this might be interesting.
Well, in this update...
Well, Bob Jenkins, we'd love to hear from you, but not today, thank you, sunshine. Rob, we'd rather hear from you, wouldn't we? Now, sure. Scott Sharp led every single lap of this race so far, 103 now. He can really do with the points. There's 50 for a win, I think there is, and he's getting an extra 2 for leading the most laps today.
Sure, he's chipping away. I mean, he's third in the championship, and he wants to try and get up on Lazier and Hornish, but he's going to have a lot of luck. Maybe them to get non-finishes and whatnot. But he's pushing hard.
John, any other day, Lazier and Hornish would have been out of there in that incident we saw earlier.
Tell me about it. I mean, I think that the whole championship has illustrated the same thing, and I think Barnhart's right to be worried about the weaving, the blocking. I just don't believe you can get away with it for all 200 miles. And the sort of accidents we've seen have usually been.
Well, this is it. This is the one where Scott Sharp got out of it a little bit, and then Lazier found himself with I think you put it down as threading the eye of the needle.
Did Hornish do a good job there? He saved the whole thing.
The more I see it, I think Lazier did as well. I mean, I thought it was Hornish's save, to be honest, but I think Lazier just did enough to miss both cars.
But, I mean, Sharp just ignored golden rule number 1. Don't lift off that hard on an oval. There was really no need to do it. Okay, there was a yellow out, but you just ease it back. You don't just come out of it completely.
Well, perhaps that comes down, I think, Rob, you alluded to that a little bit earlier. Now they've got the extra wing, the car's going to be stuck to the track a bit harder and slow down quicker.
Yeah, folks at home may not realise that when you got that much downforce, they get something like 2 Gs on of braking just by lifting off the accelerator. So, if they lift off the accelerator with the downforce, the thing slows down very quickly. I think, to take John's point, I think it was more down to driver error than that, to be honest. He just banged right out of the gas, and like you said, Lazier, they did a great job to avoid an accident.
Well, obviously, Sharp is not going to have it all his own way, because that might have been the break that he wanted. Not that he would have been wishing the other 2 drivers to go off, of course, I hasten to add. Now let's talk a bit about Donny Beechler. Back row of the grid after he didn't quite qualify the way that he would expect to, and he's up to something like 12th or 13th.
Yeah, I mean, he's going well, but I think it's to be expected. He's at the back because in qualifying he was coming up to green flag and the motor shut off. So that's why he started at the back. But the last 3 races, you know, he's been going quite well. In fact, I made a note earlier in the day. He said 3 top 10 finishes, and he was 3rd in Kansas. So he's no slouch.
Well, we're under a caution at the moment. I think we better start having some bets here, really, gents. I mean, normally I get you guys to predict what's going on at the beginning of the race meeting, but today I've been a bit slack in that. Cheever, 10th starter up to 3rd place. Oh, and that is... actually, we're about to mix now. Eddie Cheever is in pit lane and is static. Now, we don't know what this is, why the reason for this is. Eddie Cheever is out of the race. Just as I speak, these are live pictures, and you can see there... let's cross now and hear what they've got to say at trackside.
Hey, CV boot is blown on the right rear. You might as well get out.
Okay, so he has an electrical problem by the sound of it.
A CV boot, they were saying. It'll be the left rear, the universal joint is gone, which is a shame because that car looked to be going really strong. I keep sort of waving Eddie's flag, but you know he's been there every race, and the engine's getting better, and the car looks up. But the problem about calling a winner here, Keith, is there are 2 or 3 cars look strong.
Indeed. Well, I opened my mouth too soon. I said Eddie Cheever was doing well. He's not. He's out. Let's get back to the track and hear what they have to say.
Back at Kentucky Speedway, and we say goodbye as far as this race is concerned to Eddie Cheever Jr. He reported that clutch was slipping, and he brought it in, and they're taking a look at it, and they've told him to get out of the car, so apparently it is going to be all over. It's his 7th DNF. Did not finish in 10 races this year for Eddie, if indeed it is over for him.
Yeah, they've reported also that the CV joint on the right rear was out too, so that's definitely put him out, because when those go out, they usually break, and then the half shaft falls out of the car, crashes, gets under the wheel, so no sense taking that chance.
Down to Vince Welch.
Very disappointed Eddie Cheever, who had just recently radioed in that the car had finally come around, but a mechanical problem sends Eddie out. What indeed was the problem finally, Eddie?
I had 2 things in the race that kept cutting out all the time, but that was all right. And then I came in for a change of tires, and something went wrong with the clutch. It wouldn't disengage completely, so I came in for that. And then we looked at the back, and one of the CV joints is ready to break, so it's probably a good luck that it broke, that I came in, because the back, a half shaft would have broke within 5 laps.
The television has shown us it's been some incredible racing out there. How's it been from the driver's perspective?
That's the way it should be, just like that. I mean, it's a hard circuit.
Yes, it is, and we're back to racing now at Kentucky. Hornish, Sharp, Lazier, Buell, and Unser. And look at Scott Sharp try to get the lead back from Sam Hornish, but he cannot do it. And Lazier will go to 2nd position. Well, this is, as you mentioned, Larry, the first time all race that Scott Sharp has not led. And look at Billy Boat.
Billy Boat made a great move there. As everybody battled in front of him, they kind of had to check up a little bit. He had a big run on him and gained a couple of spots. Wow.
Boat is up to 4th position. That is Sharp just ahead of him. In back of him is Robbie Buell, and Al Unser Jr. now shown in the 5th position.
Looks like Boat's going to get around Sharpie here going into 3.
Wow. Billy Boat has really been on a tear. He's had a good race car all day long. It looks like, though, his car is much better early in the run. As the run goes on, it looks like he gets a little slower. But look at Lazier.
He goes for the lead, and Buddy Lazier gets the lead from Sam Hornish.
And remember, both of these guys know how important it is to finish, so they can't do anything silly. They can't take any real chances, but they're going to race the heck out of each other.
You think these guys don't want to win and get a lead on each other in the championship?
As I mentioned on our pre-race show, Indy Racing Today, and on RPM Tonight earlier this week, it could boil down to the driver who makes just one mistake in the next 4 races that determines the championships. The point battle is that close, and these guys have just been so consistent all year that if one of them has a bad race, it could mean the championship for the other.
And Bob, one of the things Buddy Lazier has not lost sight of is the fact that should he win one more race this season, he will become the first Indy Racing League driver ever to win 4 races in a season. Right now, he's won 3, same way Kenny Brack did the year he won the championship.
Wow, look at Scott Sharp back there in the back. He moved way down the racetrack in front of Robbie Buell. Those guys really, look at this now. Buell gets by.
Takes clear. Well, that was Salazar out there.
Salazar looked like he was heading right for the fence. He had a big run and went way wide, so he didn't get into either one of those guys.
And that's Jacques Lazier also battling up there with Scott Sharp. By the way, Greg Ray and Didier Andre are back on the lead lap because of that series of pit stops. And Donnie Beechler made a late pit stop, stayed out, led a lap. So we have had now 4 leaders of this event. Scott Sharp, Sam Hornish, Buddy Lazier, and Donnie Beechler. And Lazier is at the point at the moment.
And Jacques Lazier just got around Eliseo Salazar there. Now Salazar is going to take a look back inside him.
And these guys...
Oh, he got away from him.
These guys are really racing each other. This is unbelievable. Everybody came into this race saying, oh, you're going to be a one-lane racetrack. Can't pass anybody. It's a little bumpy. Man, oh, man. These guys aren't worried too much about those bumps right now.
Well, and then it rained last night and washed all the rubber off the track. This was a totally green track this morning when these guys got on it, and they've opened it up. They're going 3 wide now. It's crazy.
Last time we did an at the line, Cheever in the Infinity was the fastest. Now Buell in the Infinity was the fastest that last lap at 2:12.982. There is Jacques Lazier running in 6th spot. Behind him, Salazar and Hattori now. Shiggy Hattori is 8th.
Once again in the top 10, Mr. Consistency.
That's right.
And Scott Sharp, who dominated this race, is now back in 5th, and just looks like, you know, one of the guys running back there. I mean, it's just unbelievable how equal all these cars in the top 8 or 9 are.
Buddy Lazier did not lead at all in the first 5 races this year, but he has led in each of the last 5 races for a total of 358 laps, and he has, as you can see, officially a half-second lead on Hornish. But now look at Billy Boat. Billy's feeling racy all of a sudden again.
He certainly is. He's been racy up, you know, like we said, the last 4 or 5 races. But look at Robbie Buell now. He's coming up on him on the outside.
I love that phrase, he's feeling racy. If you say that in the wrong part of town, you may get some unwanted attention, Jake.
Robbie Buell looking for a way. He's trying the high road. That's one thing about these guys. Hornish and Buell, all these guys have tried that high road. Nobody thought anybody was going to move out there, but almost all of them have tried it at one time or another here today.
This track has really opened up, and obviously the rule modification that the IRL made with the bigger wing and giving these guys more downforce is affecting that.
But Larry, as you pointed out early in the race, let's give credit to the people here at Kentucky Speedway who worked very, very hard, several days, 24 hours a day, to get this Rhino patch down 3 lanes so that they could race the way they are here this afternoon.
And I think if I'm the guy selling Rhino pants, I'm saying yes, yes.
It's been good. And there is Buell right behind Billy Boat now, 3rd and 4th position.
And actually, Brian Barnhart told me after I went off the air with you guys in the show open that he's going to take 10 gallons of that Rhino patch to every track they go to from now on in case they run into a problem. He's that big of a fan of the material.
Bob, what happened to Scott Sharp? What a difference since that last restart, the performance of Scott Sharp compared to the first half of this race. I asked Tom Kelly, his owner, that same question. He said it was just a bad restart. He said if you miss it, as Larry Rice told us on the restart, you pay the price dearly. Let's go a little further down pit road to Vince.
Greg Beck, who runs things for Billy Boat's teams, told me before the race, he said the key for us tonight will be being able to run the car consistently from a full tank to a low fuel tank. And he just told me, Vince, it's been absolutely perfect. We've run the same speeds, whether the tank has been full or whether we've been low, and we haven't touched the car all day. That is a really good sign for the 98 car of Billy Boat, who, as Jason likes to hear, is real racing.
Back in 9th and 10th position, we have Allenzer Jr. and Donnie Beechler. And Beechler again giving that ride for A.J. Foyt a good one. He started last, 22nd, and is in the top 10.
Yeah, and he's been very consistent. He hasn't been as fast. The leaders have been running in the 211 range. He's been running mostly in the 29, 210 range. So he hasn't been quite as fast as the guys that have been up in the first 5, but he has been very quick, and he's managed to hang on to the guys in front of him.
You know, he had to do a lot of work to work up through the field. The cars are also evenly matched on this track. He's put a lot of work in today.
And Allenzer Jr. is also having a good race. He's up to 9th, Jack.
And Bobby, it wasn't a very good race to begin with, but Al Unser Jr., as you suspected, dialed down the car. The last pit stop, the one previous to this, they really didn't get the tire pressures where they wanted them. That really got Al Unser high in the seat. He verbally lambasted the team. But one of the things that I have found out is they are using the Bobby Unser technique today. What is that? Well, it's real simple. No matter where you're running, you just always pit with the leader.
I thought you were going to say you just yell at somebody.
Now Unser to the inside of Vittori there. Meanwhile, up front, it's still Hornish trailing Buddy Lazier, but Hornish now begins to close in as they approach slower traffic. That's Rick Treadway and Sarah Fisher, and one of them is going to go low and one high, and they come out okay.
Clear inside. Buddy's there. Buddy's still inside now.
Usually it's the guy in...
Inside. Still there. Still there. Behind Buddy, you're clear. Still there. Buddy's there. Still there.
They're coming up on Calkins again.
Keep digging. Go to the outside of the red car.
That's Pancho Carter you're hearing. He's talking to Sam Hornish.
Inside. Keep digging.
Now what are they going to do with Calkins? They're both going to go on the high side.
Inside, clear.
Yeah.
Another one coming.
Oh, and look at
Inside.
Boat takes second.
Wow, that's great opportunistic driving right there. He saw that Hornish had to roll out of it a little bit and took advantage. Beautiful.
He had to roll out of it a whole lot. 3 wide is not possible. 2 wide is okay. 3 wide just isn't going to happen here. Now he's got his momentum back up, so it's going to be much more difficult for Robbie Buell to make the pass because Boat just caught him at exactly the right time.
You know, we forget this all the time, just how young a guy Sam Hornish is, and for him to have the wherewithal and the mental capacity in the heat of battle like that to roll out of the throttle to protect himself in his race car, that's smart thinking from a young driver.
Jason, that was one of the early criticisms earlier in the year from Pancho Carter about his student. He said, we've got to try and teach Sam not to overcharge or be too enthusiastic. So I would say, even though maybe he lost the spot, his teacher and professor will probably give him an A in that subject today.
Well, Jack, as you well know, sometimes you got to give up the battle to win the war.
Hornish and Buell running in the 3rd and 4th positions here. 131 laps are completed. We have 13, make that 14 cars on the lead lap, and just a great race so far. Being led by Buddy Lazier, with both Hornish, Buell, and Sharp the top 5.
Sky Sports kicks off its Barclaycard Premiership coverage with a battle of the champions. Man United, with their record-breaking new signings, take on last year's Division 1 winners Jean Tigan's Fulham. Ford Super Sunday next Sunday at 3, Sky Sports 1 and Extra. But first, new look Chelsea's Premiership campaign starts against Bobby Robson's Newcastle. Chelsea v Newcastle next Sunday at 1:30, game number 1 from Premiership Plus. A new offering from Sky Box Office, channel 433 for details.
At MFI, there's up to 50% off.
That's nice.
Plus, choose an appliance at half sale price. But not for long.
Why?
Because it must end August 15th.
Right.
How does Evian make you feel?
Bye, bye, baby. Remember you're my baby. When they give you the eye. Although I know that you care, won't you?
Live young.
The first rule of boxing is control. It's not about losing it with someone. It's about keeping your composure. But if I was called out to a home where it seems a man was using his fist on a woman, beating her up over some domestic row, I don't know if I could keep my cool with that man. I couldn't swear to that.
And if anyone knows of any good reason why these two people should not be joined in matrimony, will they speak now?
Yes. Stop.
What are you doing? This bride is not ready yet. She needs to evolve for at least a couple of million years. Haven't you guys ever heard of Darwin? Look, you rushed things. Not so good. Now the Grolsch is brewed slowly. Very good. Isn't that right, my furry friend?
Grolsch. We only let you drink it when it's ready. Charmin Ultra gives you the most comfortable feeling ever. Because it's the most cushiony soft paper ever.
We got you this. Happy birthday, son. Nice one.
Isn't it great when you get more than you expected? Process your film with Kodak pictures and get a presentation box, index print, option of a picture CD, and up to £2 off.
Play Suck It and See at Burger King with a chance to win prizes. But only if your straw changes colour. There's 1 in 4 chances to win, so suck it and see.
Welcome back. Buddy Lazier has muscled his way to the front, but the challenge is coming thick and fast from behind. Let's go back to the track and our commentators.
Those of you in the St. Louis area who want to get your tickets, Sunday, August the 26th is the next Indy Racing League event. That's at Gateway International Speedway in St. Louis. It's the first visit there by the Indy Racing League. And it will be on ESPN at 3 o'clock Eastern, noon Pacific on Sunday, August the 26th.
Just want to take a second to say congratulations to Danny Lasowski. He won the Knoxville Nationals last night, the biggest sprint car race in America, and did a great job beating Mark Kinsler and Joey Saldana.
And the USAC Midgets raced here, won on Thursday night. Right. And Dave Darlin won. He went to Salem, Indiana last night and won again, and Tracy Hines won the sprint car portion of that doubleheader at the Salem Speedway up in southern Indiana. Okay, Vince Welch with a report on Sam Hornish, who's fallen to 4th.
Well, and we've been watching Sam battle Buddy Lazier throughout much of the day, but he's also battling the race car. Kevin Blanche told me just a moment ago they just can't seem to get it right. One time it's tight, the next time it's loose, the next time it's tight again. They just haven't found the right balance on the car, but they still feel Sam's doing a great job running in 4th with a car that's been less than consistent for him today.
That was Rick Treadway that he went around, and again, Rick Treadway is making his IRL debut here this weekend. He's the son of car owner Fred Treadway, and he is running in 18th position. He is 10 laps down, but no one, of course, expected him to have a top 10 performance this week, but he is getting a lot of seat time and getting a lot of experience. And Sunday, Rick Treadway will be a top 10 contender.
And Bob, Fred Treadway, his dad told me today that they told Rick to just go out like it's practice with other cars on the track. Don't try to race with anybody. Just go out and get the feel for what it's like to be out under race conditions with this many other cars out on the racetrack in that type of situation. Bring it home and put it in one piece so they can put it on the trailer and maybe try to get another race or two in before the end of the year. And so far, he's doing that.
Belly Boats crew's telling him that he's got breathing room, but you can't breathe too much because fuel's still back there. So.
And more on that from Jackaroo.
Well, Billy Boat is waiting patiently. Right now, he needs a caution flag because if he doesn't get it soon at lap 158, Greg Beck and company will have to bring the curb records car on the pit road for what should be his final stop. The window should open, Larry Rice, in about a lap or so for all these teams to make their final stop if it goes green. And this is when the crews don't dance, they do the ballet.
Yeah, everybody's going to have to stop. The window's at about 50. It's been 43 laps since they last pitted, so sometime between the next 7 to 15 laps, they're all going to have to come in if there's not a yellow.
It's been 33 races since Billy Boat won an IRL event. That happened at Texas in 1998. The last 2 races, he has been outstanding. Finished second in Nashville. He's running second here this afternoon, but he has Robbie Buell right on the rear wing.
Robbie Buell's reporting that his car is getting a little looser as time goes on. They may make a change during this pit stop with a wicker or something, but right now it doesn't look to be too bad as he appears to be catching Billy Boat slightly.
And by looser, we mean the back end of the car wants to come around the front end of the car in the corners.
And I saw Greg Beck during the week, this past week, and I was talking to him about the condition of this racetrack and how everybody was a little nervous about the Nashville track being rough. And he says, oh, man, we like those rough racetracks. We'll take those any day.
Jacques Lazier slows on the racetrack. This does not appear to be a routine pit situation. He's going far, far too slow for that. So Jacques Lazier here on the 151st lap appears to be in trouble.
And Sam Schmidt's team just bought all of Dick Simon's stuff. Dick Simon apparently going to quit racing, so he bought all of his cars, all of his transporters and everything, gearing up for next year already.
And we continue to watch this battle for second position as Boat and Buell are right together. There's Hornish back there in fourth.
Yeah, and Buell is catching Boat slightly, but both of them are actually losing ground to Buddy Lazier.
We're approaching our pit window in 5 laps.
Lazier has built up a interval of about 2 1/3 seconds over the second place Boat there on the left of your screen.
I love to keep bringing this up, guys. Donnie Peachler started dead last.
Yep.
He's now in 6th position. He's having a great run.
Very good run. Here is Buddy Lazier moving through the slower traffic. Vince, what's the word on brother Jacques?
Well, he was having a fuel pressure problem. Not out of fuel, but just having a fuel pressure problem, but they're not exactly sure enough to pinpoint the exactness of the situation, but they do know a fuel pressure problem. So keep an eye on the Jacques Lazier machine and see if he can keep it out there up to speed.
Yeah, he's moving back out onto the racetrack. You remember that earlier in the season, Jacques and Angelique announced that they were expecting, well, Buddy and Kara are expecting their second child.
What the heck's going on in Aspen?
Hey, they're always... that's just like a big brother to try and steal the little brother's thunder.
They're always in competition, aren't they?
Well, congratulations to Buddy and Kara. That's great.
Buell is going to pit in about another...
Oh, there is Salazar.
Wow.
Looks like he was trying to slow down, so he didn't get a penalty. Entering the pits, and when he hit the brakes too hard, just entering the pits, he spun.
Yellow.
Oh, that's
Pits are closed. Car 91's your leader. He's on the backstretch. He's on the back.
This yellow comes at a very opportune time because it's going to allow everybody to come in under caution and make what could be their final pit stop.
And I think for some guys this is a break, and for some guys it's not. For instance, I think for Hornish this is probably not a good thing because his team is so quick, he might get an advantage under green flag pit stops. Somebody else like Billy Boat, who looks like he's having trouble getting out of the pits. Not that the pit crew is slow, but it looks like once he gets on the throttle out of the pits, he's not gaining speed very quickly, so it might be a huge break for him.
Well, and Larry, it was a huge break for Robbie Buell's team. In fact, his crew had already gone over the wall to prepare for Robbie's pit stop, and then the yellow came right at the proper time. The only question that the Buell team has is this last set of tires already has some wear on it, and they're somewhat concerned as to whether that's going to be a set good enough to get them to the finish and victory lane.
Well, guys, I actually just got a report on why Eliseo Salazar spun in the pit road. Apparently, he came up very quickly behind Billy Rowe, who was already on pit road, and Billy Rowe was moving much slower than Salazar. He had to lock him up to avoid hitting Billy, and that's why he spun.
Billy Rowe has a brand new sponsor that he's announced today. Juno.com will be carried on that car for Team Zally for the rest of the season, so kudos to Rowe & Company.
That red flag, of course, indicates that the pits are closed for the moment as the pace car leads the field down the tri-oval area of the racetrack once again. Salazar is still in the middle of pit road. That's the reason for the caution.
And Greg Beck is just going down to A.J. Foyt to have a conversation with Salazar's crew. You were talking about the difficulties. that Billy Boat had been having getting off of pit road. Well, according to Greg Beck, it has been that Salazar has kept him sandwiched in the way he pits, and with Giafone directly in front of Billy Boat, there isn't a lot of wiggle room. So Beck is trying to do some advanced planning here and let everybody know that the second place car is going to make a run.
There are the cars that are out of the race: Daré, Eddie Cheever, and Mark Dismore. And the stories, well, the points championship continues to be very interesting. Hornish is now 4th, and Lazier is the leader of the race. And the remaining member of Team Kelly continues to do well. That, of course, is Scott Sharp, who's running 5th. And Buell, the remaining member of the Infinity delegation, is also still very much in contention, running in 3rd as the pits remain closed.
And one of the problems with getting in and out of the pits here is these pit boxes are only 36 feet long. That's the smallest pit box we've had for the last several races, and it does present some problems getting in and out.
And the Greg Beck team, Larry, is very upset. The Curb Records team has gone to the Foyt team, asked for some courtesy. They have not been given it. The right front tire changer refuses to budge, despite the fact that Salazar is being hand-pushed onto pit road. So the Curb Records team is very upset. They wanted to have a clear run in, and now they're going to have to squeeze in and squeeze out.
Well, this is going to be interesting to see when they do open the pits, because this could win or lose the race for you. First guy in, first guy out is going to have a huge advantage, because, and we've seen that Sam Hornish and that Pennzoil Panther crew have got some great pit stops the last 2 times in.
And now the pits open up, and here we go. This could possibly decide who's going to win this thing if somebody can get out very quickly and maintain the advantage. It could go to the very end. Boy, they're getting stacked up there at the top of the screen, and now Buddy Lazier hits his pit box.
Salazar just left, so that gives Billy Boat a better shot at his pits, as we see right there in the red.
Boy, and this is what crews live for. They absolutely live for the opportunity to give their driver a better position going out of the pits than they had coming in. These guys are going to be fired up.
13.8 seconds. Pit stop. Whoa. And it's going to be Lazier who leads him out of the pits.
And Sharpie got out second. How about that?
Well, that's a great job by both of those guys. We talked about the Pennzoil Panther crew, but look at the other guys that did a terrific job right there. All of them got a good job.
Down to Vince.
Well, we've got a problem in the Robbie Buell pit. When Buell pulled out, the fuel tank went with him. The fuel nozzle connection just completely unraveled.
And you can see he broke it right there. Whoop, that one went away too quick. But right here, here's the fueling man right here. Watch what happens when Buell pulls out.
They didn't have it disconnected. He pulled the fuel tank and everything. We saw Lloyd Ruby do this many years ago.
He's got a piece of it still stuck in his car.
Look, right there, the piece is still stuck on the car. He's going to have to come in and take that out. But look at the fuel. Very dangerous situation, as it was going all over the pit area.
And Larry, even more dangerous is the fact that the fuel tank itself tumbled over the top. And there you see them now, and the Kelly team is down there giving some assistance in getting the fuel tank back on its legs. So a very, very serious situation, thankfully averted, and it's not going to bode well for Robbie Buell likely in the finish of this race perhaps, but certainly that could have been a lot more serious situation than it turned out to be.
You can see how that hose unraveled. That's all pieces of the hose that just unraveled there as he went out, and finally it broke in two, but that spiral hose just completely came apart as he took off before they had disengaged that fuel nozzle from the car.
And you really can't, and you can't blame Robbie Buell for that, Larry, because as we watched the replay, it was the right front tire changer that was waving him away. You just do what you're told on pit road.
So they clean up down there in the Robbie Buell pit. Let's take a look at it in real time and get the impact of this situation.
Watch this guy right here. Jack
Guy
is
on
exactly right. Yep. He motioned him out before. He was watching the tire changers because usually you disengage the fuel. You get the fuel in quicker than the tires are changed. In this case, it didn't happen.
All right, well, we're still under caution. 161 laps completed. More of the Kentucky Indy 300 after this. And a word from our ABC stations.
Are you good in bed?
Might stick my bum out a bit further and Dave might reciprocate.
Would you like to be better?
I'll be using my sex counselling skills to ask explicit questions and demand candid answers from the couples who'll be bearing all.
Spice up your sex life.
I'm getting really into it. It's katsu. Just take me over the top, you know, it's mad.
Hotter Sex starts Thursday at 10, Sky One.
Catalogue is out now, with thousands of new products at a whopping 1,200 prices down, including our lowest price digital cordless phone for under £49. Get down and pick up a catalogue now. Argos, brighter prices, brighter shopping.
If you're looking for a great deal in a personal loan, why tie yourself down to a small choice of lenders? Just pick up the phone, and feel the freedom of a low-cost loan from Freedom Finance. As the UK's leading finance broker, I'll shop around at the top banks and finance companies to get you a low-cost loan for any purpose. A new car maybe, or a new kitchen, a conservatory, or other home improvements. Perhaps a well-deserved holiday. But best of all, I could replace all your existing credit and store card commitments and any loans you may have with one affordable payment each month. And I may be able to help you even if you've had problems getting the right finance elsewhere. In fact, I could save you hundreds of pounds each and every month. So what have you got to lose? Make the time right now. Go on, call Freedom Finance now on 0800 085 5626. You're under no obligation and even the call is free. Plus we're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's 0800 085 5626.
That is why all the girls in town follow you all around.
Just like me, they long to be close to you.
I've had the privilege and saved pounds on my motor insurance.
I've had the privilege and got a great deal on breakdown cover. I've had the privilege with free 24-hour accident recovery.
I've had the privilege and pay by instalments.
Paying over £300 for motor insurance, it's time you had the privilege. Call 0845 246 0077 or buy online at privilege.com. You could save pounds.
With just under 36 laps left to run of the Indy 300 from Kentucky, and all hell has let loose. They're out of the pits. They are fueled. They have tyres. Buddy Lazier leads. Scott Sharp's gone up from 5th to 2nd. Billy Boat's in 3rd place. Alancer Jr. has come from 9th to 4th, and the race is on to win the Indy 300.
More on the Robbie Buell story from Vince Welch.
John O'Gara, you were on the right front there. Tell us what happened. Did you send him out a little too soon, or could you just not get the fuel unplugged?
Just a little too antsy, trying to gain some track position for him, and he's got a car that can win this thing. It's just a shame. Hopefully we'll still finish decent.
I've seen the fuel hose just completely unravel. What do you have to do to be able to repair it?
We'll have to get a spare out. We should be okay. Nobody got hurt, so it's just a stupid mistake on my part.
Fortunately, no more stops going to be necessary for this guy, for this team. At least it hopes not.
And a great three-car battle here. Allenzer Jr., Sam Hornish, and Buell trying to decide who runs 4th, 5th, and 6th. Whoa, Buell to the inside takes the spot from Hornish.
That's what you call poking her down in there, boys. He just did the left.
Great three's using a lot of track spots.
That's Donnie Beechler now coming up on Hornish as Beechler runs 7th.
Hornish had to get out of the throttle a little bit. It's going to take him a little while to gain that momentum back. But meanwhile, they've kind of separated themselves. But Buell seems to be very fast. That little incident in the pits did not bother him one bit.
Things like that tend to fire you up when you're in the car. You get a little upset at things and you start driving real hard. Hornish came really high, close to the wall, coming out of turn 4, guys.
Well, and Allenzer Jr. has been very impressive, Vince Welch, in this race.
He's gotten it back up to 4th place, but his car doesn't handle very well on the restarts. But once his tire temperatures get up, the car handles a lot better. So don't look for Al Jr. to do well immediately after the yellows, but once they get into the run, about 10 laps or so, then the car handles much better, and he should be maybe making a closer run to the front.
Robbie Buell is on the move.
Yes,
he has just gotten into 4th place, and he is all over the back of Billy Boat. He looks to be the fastest car on the racetrack. Well, he is by almost 2 miles an hour on that last lap.
He's had a great car all day long. He really does have a car that's capable of winning this race.
And I think, Jason, you're right. I think he's probably just fired up. You know, he knows he just averted a disaster, and he knows he's got a fast race car.
Right now, with Buddy Lazier leading and Sam Hornish running back here in 6th position as Buell goes inside of Boat. And he gets that position.
That's a move, buddy. Come on.
Robbie Buell now is in 3rd position. We'll see who's the fastest car on the race point. The point championship is at 18 right now, with Hornish leading over Buddy Lazier. And now Allenzer Jr. and Billy Boat get into it for 4th.
There goes Junior.
Yeah, all of a sudden he's going to come to life. Maybe those tires are getting warmed up to his liking, and Billy Boat, he might, sometimes you put on a set of tires you think is your best set of tires, and it just doesn't work out that way. That might be the case here. Not that the tires are bad, but the stagger, if it can be off just 1/10 of an inch, it makes a huge difference in the handling of the car.
Look at Sam going hard on the outside of the racetrack and past Boat. Now he comes up on Allenzer Jr. By the way, Eliseo Salazar, who created that caution a few laps ago, is back in the race. He's 4 laps down in 15th. And Hornish now goes to the outside of Allenzer Jr. here in the tri-oval.
Inside, still there. Still inside, still there. Getting close, still there. You're clear.
We've seen him come off a bad last pit stops twice to win the race. He did that in Phoenix. Remember when he had to stall the car and came back to win.
Well, we're down to 25 laps to go in this Kentucky Indy 300. Buddy Lazier, the 0.4 of a second lead on Scott Sharp, followed by Buell, and then this battle for 4th, 5th, and 6th involving Hornish, Allenzer Jr., and Billy Boat, who has dropped back from the group a little bit.
Guys, they're not quite sure why Billy's dropped back. He hasn't radioed in, and nothing on the telemetry shows that they're having any problems. So I think the crew is just as interested as we are as to maybe why Billy's lost a couple of positions.
Well, Vince, maybe one of the things that struck Billy Boat is the same thing that previously struck Scott Sharp. I talked to Jeff Britton. He said the last set of Firestones just didn't match up properly, as Larry Rice told us. Sometimes you don't get the right set. I asked him, what about this set? He said, they're great. We're going after the lead.
And a driver we haven't talked about a great deal this afternoon, but one who has had a great race is Shiggy Hattori and Felipe Giafone, who's running in 8th spot right now. The driver who undoubtedly will win the Rookie of the Year honors this year. He has 8 top 10 finishes in 9 races this year. And for 2nd position, it's Buell and Sharp.
Still there, Robbie.
Robbie Buell is on a tear.
Clear. Reel him in, buddy.
He is absolutely turning this place up. He's 2 miles an hour faster than Sharp and almost a mile an hour faster than Buddy Lazier. But if he's going to go around Buddy Lazier, he's going to have to go around on the outside because Lazier's not going to give him the bottom of the racetrack.
And remember, guys, we reported earlier that the Robbie Buell team was concerned about that last set of tires. Evidently, those concerns are not coming to fruition, at least with 21 laps remaining.
You know what I said about not giving him the top? Watch Lazier. He's going to stay right on the bottom. Look at that. He doesn't go anywhere near that wall coming off. So if Buell wants to go to the inside of him, he's going to have a very difficult time doing it.
Buell is 1.1 miles an hour a lap faster on that last lap. If he gets around Buddy, he could just check out from everybody.
He is closing in quickly. Here we see Buell coming within about 3 car lengths and closing in quickly. He's got a good run on Lazier, but again, he's going to have to go around the outside and can't.
He's been testing the outside. He's been running in that second lane the last 2 laps because he wants to know if he can run up there and run fast enough to get around. He knows Lazier's not going to give him anything. See there? Again, he's up there. He doesn't have to be. He's 3 car lengths back. He just wants to know if he can run faster up there. And he is.
Robbie Buell's last win came at Orlando a year ago in February of 2000. He's stalking Buddy Lazier as they come down to complete the 182nd lap. 18 to go. And again, we see Buell try the high side of Buddy.
Well, the team's
all clear behind, all clear.
The team's telling him just keep working on him. Well, if you don't think he's trying to do that, you're not watching very close because he is really all over it. He's doing what he's going to have to do. He's trying that outside line. He's trying to make it work. But what will happen is sometimes you go out there enough, you kind of fake the guy, and all of a sudden you dart in under him. He might pull that off too.
Vince?
Well, the situation with Robbie Buell and the fuel, they're not sure how much fuel actually got into the car because so much spilled, as you see Buell trying to challenge Buddy Lazier. So they're not 100% sure that Buell has enough fuel to get to the finish, but they're not going to stop. You can be sure of that.
Robbie Buell is trying to get G-Force its first IRL win since the Indianapolis 500 in the year 2000. 15 races and 15 months ago. Buell now may have Buddy Lazier as they head for the end of the backstretch. They're side by side all the way through turns 3 and 4.
Keep him down there, still there.
It's not going to be that easy. Buddy Lazier, we've seen him do this lap after lap. He doesn't give up. He doesn't lift off the throttle.
Still there. Car low. Car low. Still there.
No.
Still there. Still there, Robbie. Still there.
Wow, unbelievable.
The fans are standing, cheering, and loving the action here in Kentucky.
What about us? We're standing too. What the heck? Look at this. We've seen Lazier do this. He protects the bottom of the racetrack when he's not quite as fast. He makes the guy go around the outside. Robbie Buell is definitely faster, and he gets a good run on him, but he just can't quite get the momentum all the way through the corner to pull off the pass.
0 on fuel, Robbie. 0. Sorry, 0.
That's not a good sign. 0 on fuel. They're probably telling him to switch the mixture, but
he's going to have to lean it out. They're afraid he's not going to make it to the end.
Meanwhile, Scott Sharp is just sitting back there in 3rd position, watching and waiting for something to happen.
And he's in the catbird seat. He could, when these guys are battling each other, sneak down under him. We saw Greg Ray do that a few races ago, where he went by both guys on the inside.
And guess what? They're coming up on Buzz Calkins again. And as I recall, Buzz, because he's not up to race speed, has created several situations in which we've seen some good wheel-to-wheel battling among those who are faster. And now Buell may get to the inside of Lazier. Well, you talked about how Buddy wasn't going to give it up. Lazier does give up the inside, and Buell takes the lead.
I think Buddy was looking at that lap traffic thinking, I'm going to have to go around him on the outside. And when he did, he gave that opening up just for one corner, and that's all it took.
And that's the first race that Robbie Buell has led all year. The last time he led was in Texas, the last race of last year.
We stalked him, he ran the outside, he ran the outside, he ran the outside. And the minute Buddy Lazier opened that bottom of the racetrack up, he just took advantage of it, shot down there, and run right on past him. But look, he's still running in that second groove out there. He thinks he might be running faster out there. The car's handling better.
But the question is, does Buell have the adequate fuel to take him 9.5 more laps to the checkered flag?
Well, you can bet that Buddy Lazier doesn't much care. He's going to try to get him while he's on the racetrack, but right now that's going to be very difficult to do.
Reading the telemetry down here, the team is confident that Buell does indeed have enough fuel to make it to the end, guys.
Robbie's 2 wins came at New Hampshire in '97 and Orlando in February of last year, 2000. And that race, he took the lead with 2 laps to go. At New Hampshire, he took the lead
on the 81, time it.
with 3 laps to go, and I think he took the lead with 11 laps to go in this one.
Well, traffic is going to be very important. If they have to lift just slightly, right there.
They're 3 wide, and who's going to come out with the lead?
Buddy Lazier.
Lazier retakes the lead with a little more than 7 laps to go.
All right.
Lap traffic.
7 to go at the line, Robbie. You're faster than him.
Lap traffic has played such a huge part in this race today and how these drivers choose to go around it. Here we saw it once again with 8 laps to go.
Absolutely a great move by Lazier. And I know right now Robbie Buell is so mad at himself, but he had no choice. When you come up on a car like that, you can't run over him. You got to know which way they're going and where to go.
It's sticking. Make it stick. Carlo.
Look at this.
Carlo. Still there. 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 Still there, Robbie. Still there.
212 miles an hour, driving as close as you do to the people around you when you're on the freeway. This is unreal.
5 laps to go, and Lazier has the lead by just a car length.
And remember, one of the issues has been that this freeway isn't the smoothest freeway in town either.
Now Buell heads for the upside again as they come off the 4th quarter, and this will be 4 laps to go.
Keep digging, buddy. You got him.
Well, not yet.
Well, I'd be extremely surprised to see Buddy Lazier give that inside line to him again. Unless lap traffic, which it doesn't look like there's anybody up there that's going to get in the way.
We've had 4 lead changes in the last 5 laps. Remember, Buddy Lazier is trying to become the first driver in Indy Racing League history to win 4 events in a season. He's already won 3. And so have Greg Ray and Kenny Brett.
We're actually going to see the two leaders catch up to Greg Ray probably within the next 2 laps. It's going to be interesting to see what happens then.
Robbie Buell had one chance. He got around him. Now that he's just praying for that second opportunity, but boy.
Here they come up on Ray, guys.
2 laps to go. 3 miles.
Here we go, Robbie. Use that pick up ahead.
That's Greg Ray. They're lapping, and they get around him easily.
They caught him at a good spot on the racetrack. Both of them went around the outside.
White flag at the line. I'm running out of gas. I'm running out of gas.
Buell runs out of fuel as Lazier comes down to take the white flag.
There's 1 lap to go.
And Jeff Ward has also had some kind of a problem. He is very slow down in turn number 1, but Buddy Lazier has a half a lap to go. Here he is.
4-second lead on Sharp. Good job.
Buddy Lazier will win again in the Indy Racing League, this time at Kentucky Speedway, his second win here.
That was unbelievable. Buddy Lazier deserved to win this race. He lost the lead. He came back and just took advantage.
Go around and
there he goes, climbing out of his car again. There he goes.
Buddy, you get 1 victory lap, buddy. Beautiful job. You get 1 victory lap, and then they're asking you please to go straight to victory lane for the ABC interview.
Yes, we do. Here's Vince.
They're getting direct
directions of bringing Buddy in for the interview, but Ron Himmelgarn is a team owner. I know you've got to be just as proud as your driver.
I'll tell you what, this Tybo Coors Light just don't give up. They just keep going and going and going. We got 4 out of 5. We're gaining on that yellow car.
The first team to ever win 4 races in one season, and as you mentioned, you're gaining on Sam Hornish in the championship points.
Yep, and we're not giving up here. We want that championship again so bad, and the guys are just working hard. We're testing a lot, and we're just doing everything we can to win this championship. So I'm real proud of this Tybo Coors Light team. It's just doing a fantastic job. Buddy is just so focused, and I think this last 10 laps shows how well and how much he wants it. He just stayed right out there and just charged after and never gave up an inch, and I'm real proud of the guys.
You've been around racing a long time. Have you ever seen one that goes after it the way Buddy Lazier does? He's so relentless lap after lap.
Well, he's got another baby on the way, so he needs some money. So, you know, those kids cost a lot of money, so I'm sure that this will come in handy. So then the end of the year, that $1 million check, everybody enjoys that one.
Buddy Lazier and his team, Himmelgarn Racing, really pleased today, guys.
Well, he has now won 4 out of the last 5 races. He reduces the deficit in the championship to 25 points. Robbie Buell, as you can see, ended up 9th. We'll be right back.
Well, we promise you drama when you watch IRL here on Sky Sports, and I think we definitely had that. That last part was just about full of everything for me. Firstly, gentlemen, we've got to cover the fuel situation with Robbie Buell. I mean, the guy definitely waved him out of the pits. He had a short load on. What was he thinking of? I mean, like, Formula One don't get it wrong.
Well, you know, when you're trying to get the guy track position, it's easy. You shouldn't make mistakes like that, but it can happen. It's just,
well, we're looking at it now.
You know, human.
To be fair, they did say that usually the fuel goes in quicker than the tires. So if they finished tires, they should have finished fuel. Yeah. In theory. So if he saw the tires were done, he assumed the fuel was done.
But in the terms of things, as far as a mistake is concerned, that must be about as huge as any technician can make.
Sure. Yeah, that's it. I mean, he was obviously sweating, as we were sweating. It was fantastic at the end there, and now he's feeling pretty depressed, I would think.
Well, the reigning champion is putting up some defence now. That's 4 wins he's had, and an IRL record, as you heard the commentators talk about.
Only 25 points split him now.
And from 11th place on the grid. You know, we said it right at the beginning of the show. I said, will it make any difference at all? You, John, said no, it won't. He could still come through quite easily, and did.
You know, as a team effort, they've just got it all together. And you know, if Hornish was under pressure at the beginning, he's under pressure now, that's for sure.
And he's just looking like every inch a champion now. I mean, every last 3 years champions have won 3 races in a year. He's won 4. How's he not going to be the champion? I mean, it's going to go right down to the wire, but he's just looking so good.
Scott Sharp, pole man, not a bad result for him, 2nd place in the end. He was there all the way through it, wasn't he?
Yeah, fell back a little bit and then came on strong at the end and was looking to take advantage. But
for me, man of the match has to be Donny Beechler, through from the last place to 5th.
Yeah, I mean, great run, steady all day, and I'm sure it'll ease AJ Foyt's pain, because he would get a Texas torrent coming Salazar's way, that's for sure.
I think he probably will as well. Well, we can see there Buddy Lazier is in victory lane now. That's the Belterra Casino Indy 300 victor. His 4th win this year in IRL. He's chasing Sam Hornish big time. He finished 3rd as far as my record here from 8th place on the grid is concerned. So Hornish salvages some points. But this is the man, Buddy Lazier. To the applause of the crowd. Let's cross them back to the track to hear what he's got to say.
Victorious today and getting the rest of his helmet off, and a joyous Buddy Lazier, who narrows the margin, as we said, in the chase to defend his points title. But Buddy, congratulations. Now, at Pikes Peak when you won, you said the money was going to be used to send Flynn to college. You got another one on the way, so I guess college is taken care of for that one too.
Good point. We're going for it. I mean, what can I say? What a great team effort. Robbie Buell made it hard on me. We were running hard, and I couldn't make it easy on him. And it was just a great race, a hard-fought battle. I want to dedicate this win to my grandma Max. She's back in Minnesota dying of leukemia, but she's a tough woman. She's putting up the fight. Hi, Grandma Max. And I don't know what to tell you. Just a beautiful day. We've got now 4 victories this year. What a great team I got.
Buddy, I want to take you back on the monitor here to a very, very close call early in the race between you, Scott Sharp, and Sam Hornish. Tell us what's going through your mind here when this happens.
Well, it scared the heck out of me because I didn't know there was a yellow. And so I was full bore, and I thought maybe somebody had slipped up and I was going for it. And luckily, there was just enough of a room for me to slip through there. So a very close call, scared the heck out of me. It was a yellow, and I didn't know it was yellow. I was still wide open.
How hard on the pedal did you get?
As hard as it'd go.
Let's talk for a moment. How important this points title and defending it for Buddy Lazier is. I know a lot of people felt that maybe you guys were a little weak early in the season, but you predicted at Pikes Peak that you were going to be tough. Can you beat Sam Hornish this year?
How about it? I could never predict it. He's that Pennzoil team's a great race team, and he's a great race driver, and they're tough. They've had a brilliant first half of the season, and we're on our way to having a brilliant second half. So I think it's going to be tight. It's going to be a close points battle.
Don't forget, last time you won here, you gained 15 points today, but the last time you won here, you went on to win the title at Texas.
Yeah, well, hey, 2 in a row at this racetrack. I've never done that before anywhere, back-to-back in wins in a year, so I like Kentucky. I like this place.
It's his old Kentucky home, Vince.
Yep.
Well, Scott Sharp.
Buddy Lazier then the winner of the Indy 300 for Kentucky now. 40 points was the difference between him and Sam Hornish, the series leader. It's now down to 25. Can Buddy Lazier do it, John?
Oh, unquestionably. He's on a roll. But, luck goes both ways, doesn't it? He was lucky getting past Smith. And the fuel rig went the wrong way for Buell, so luck swings both ways.
Sam Hornish, he's got to respond, Rob.
Oh, he does. Yeah, he's obviously under more and more pressure. As you were mentioning in the break, we were talking about how much he's going to be feeling it. But the Pennzoil Panther team are very, very good. They'll get behind him now, and it's going to be a close run to the finish. Lazier's looking so good, but hell with the championship. What a great race! I don't care who wins the championship. We keep seeing races like that.
I think so say all of us for sure. Unfortunately, that's all the time we've got from Kentucky today, but we'll have more IRL action in 2 weeks' time. The Gateway Indy 250 is round 11 of the Indy Racing Northern Lights Series, and we'll be bringing you live and exclusive coverage from St. Louis on Sunday the 26th of August on Sky Sports 3 at 8 p.m. All that remains is for me to say thanks to my studio guests John Kirkpatrick and Rob Murphy. We'll leave you though with some images of the Belterra Casino Indy 300. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.